So this right here is my apartment in Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm just showing you the seating area of the living room. Nice and spacious. This is where I've lived for the past 4 years already. So I have my working desk, everything I need. Office chair, rod, ironing board. I've just cleaned the whole place so everything is sparkly and clean. Ready for the next week ahead. Here I have my kitchen, which has this old-fashioned stove, but works just fine. Electrical, the kitchen area. Essentially, this is all a single man needs, right? All stocked up. Got a lot of souvenirs here. Pictures on the wall of Bulgaria. But what I wanted to make this video about is essentially why I'm happy that I have not bought an apartment in Bulgaria. And there's actually many reasons. I'll just highlight the faults of this apartment, which is in fact of one of the most prestigious and expensive construction firms in the city, and this is also the most expensive area of the city. This apartment right here would not be outrageous to demand 3,000 euros for a square meter nowadays. I've been living here 4 years and these cracks in the walls have turned up every single year, and that is because I suppose the building is tilting. Probably the foundation is not solid and the building is just slowly shifting. I'm on a lower floor, so I'm not even high up, but it's been repaired for 3 years. So what I do essentially is I just say to the landlord, hey, I don't really mind, but these walls are cracking. If you still have guarantee of some sort, just a heads up, because you obviously just need to see this if it bothers you to get repaired. Now, I have a very decent landlord, she's nice, and she actually did get it repaired for 3 years. So these cracks, they turn up everywhere slowly, right? You can see it here in the bottom as well, it's starting again. We can see it there at the top as well. It's coming back, but we can just see how untidy and lousy everything has been finished in this apartment. Last time the cracks got repaired is a year ago, and now it's starting to appear again. Now this time I won't really remark my landlord about it because I'm leaving in 3 months. I'll probably tell her just so she knows, but it's pretty much expected at this point. And when the guys came to repair it, they pretty much said, I asked them and I said, hey, it's always the same place, why is it possible? And they said, no, it's not the same place, each time it's a different place. But it's definitely not. And I asked, do you consider the building high quality? And they said, yes, it's the best in the city. It's the best in the city. Now, I'm honestly not impressed with anything. This is all cardboard right here. So it all looks nice, the building from the outside, but the finishing is essentially zero. No matter which plug in the apartment I pull out the whole plug, the whole sockets from the wall, all of them. Then you don't really see it except when I step on the couch, but there's a crack appearing here all along the ceiling that goes all the way to the corner, and in a few months this will actually pile out and little pieces will just drop out. It goes all the way to the back, but it's not really visible with the lights on. That's essentially for the whole apartment. We have the boiler, which is leaking when I use it. There's a whole lot of cracks behind it. In fact, it could just fall off at some point. There's been leaks, the walls rotting in the back. What you need to know when you buy an apartment in Bulgaria is that at every step of the way, people will try to cut corners. And I mean, at every step of the way, we can see how this has been put in place. Here we go. Just take this apart, take this apart, and it's a nice little puzzle. So each time when I vacuum clean, I need to reinsert these in their place because it just falls apart. It's not even, it's literally just put there, without a single nail or anything of the sort. And the thing itself is plastic, which is not too bad, but like at least make an effort for 3,500 euros per square meter, guys. Now it doesn't stop there. I can take all of this apart. See, the whole window frame, I can literally pull it out. All of it. It's literally a cardboard box, the whole apartment. See, this and this, it all comes apart. I've actually been working with my dad to improve a small amount of things. Because this one actually here at the bathroom, sometimes it just fell out in the middle of the night. And it would fall on my little cosmetics table right there. And break some bottles, you know, of perfume and stuff. My dad actually came and he put a nail inside here just so that it doesn't fall out. Then in the bottom he put a little thing to keep it in place as well, because it would just fall out continuously. Now, as I said, the lousy quality never ends. We have everything basically just laying on top of each other. This has never been glued together. And then because the building is tilting, I've had these tiles in the bathroom break as well, and even in the ceiling little cracks start to fall off and land into the sink right below. Now you may be interested to know if all of this is high quality, but it's really not. One time I just opened this door a little too fast and completely broke out. When my dad was here, actually, he made a remark that this should be a sort of aluminum, or how do they call it? Metal tube of the exhaust, because the plastic one, if there's a fire in your pan, this would burn down the whole flat immediately in a matter of seconds. So in the Netherlands at least, it's a regulation that this cannot be plastic because there's a huge fire hazard. The plastic burns in seconds throughout the whole 10 floors of the building. Another problem I have is I cannot use my exhaust anymore. Now I've taken this off and closed it voluntarily on my own initiative, which is a long story in and of itself. Now don't be deceived by the actual looks of the hallways and the building. All of this looks very nice, but as you can see inside the apartment, it doesn't mean a whole lot. My dad's also helped me to fix this because it was completely loose. The toilet roll holder has been completely loose as well. So was the toilet seat. When you used to sit on it for years, it was just very wobbly. It was just not attached at all. That's been fixed by us as well. Ventilator by now is broken, which should be repaired, but that won't happen before I leave. Now it is a fairly nice place. Otherwise, it's pretty decent, and at least I can afford an apartment in this city. In Amsterdam, to be completely honest, I cannot, or I could, but I really don't want to because it's horribly overpriced. At least I can still afford it here, and it is an apartment which many people in Amsterdam would do a murder for, honestly speaking. I will be continuing my story in the next video. For me, the conclusion is at least that apartments are low quality. I've lived in 2 and I've seen a lot more, and I've never been impressed with anything. The prices have gone up with 30, 50, 60%. It is basically a rental market, Bulgaria. Purchasing, I haven't done it. I would never do it because I find the quality too low, and I would feel completely ripped off for the price that I can live in a provincial city in my own country for. But renting has been fine. Otherwise, renting is pretty decent. I've had only good landlords and good experiences with them, so there's nothing wrong with that per se. Now you would perhaps ask, why haven't you just contacted your landlord and fixed these issues? The exhaust thing actually warrants a separate video because it's quite a long story. I can't use it because I received the fumes from a restaurant into my apartment and I would basically suffocate. Well, it's a bit exaggerated, but I've had like black smoke in my apartment if the canal is not closed off. So not a very livable situation. For every other thing in Bulgaria, when you make a request like you want nets installed for mosquitoes in front of the window, you get the landlord special, which I guess you get in every country it is. I'll see what I can do. And the thing with that is that it's not a real answer, you know. One of the things that has turned me off most about Bulgaria, and part of the reason why I'm leaving, or at least not willing to spend my full 30s here, is because of the cutting of corners that is very pervasive and doesn't jive well with my Dutch mindset of at least being reasonably direct, knowing what I'm up to, because that's the only way that you can do business with someone. Now I'm fairly easygoing when it comes to renting. I've had only decent landlords. I'm not very demanding, but asking for the mosquito nets would be a reasonable request after 3 years. And I would just expect either a yes or no, because a landlord is allowed to say no and just, hey, you figure it out, I'm not going to do that. I would say, fair enough, no problem, I'll just take care of it. I'll do it myself, as I've done several things, no problem at all. But I would just need a direct answer and not wait for a year, as has been the case right now. Now I'll be moving to Poland, and I already found a new apartment, and I asked the landlord, hey, well, it is an Airbnb, you know, so you have a lot of things included. And I said, hey, would it be possible to have a screen, a monitor as well, which I can work on? And the landlord said, she's very reasonable as well, but the Polish are more direct. And she said, no, I'm sure you can purchase one on your own for a small amount. And I said, yes, absolutely I can, thank you. Because that's the only answer I need. Should I take care of it myself? I will, no problem at all. But in Bulgaria, you're always left either in the yes or the no hesitation. They're always on the fence with everything. They're never direct. And what I would say for anyone moving here, just expect it's a no. Just expect it will not happen. It's the first thing that comes on my mind, and I've become a bit skeptical about things, which I don't really like, but I have to admit I have become a bit skeptical. When someone makes a promise like, hey, we should hang out, we should do this, we should do that, you always say yes, or someone says, yeah, I'll try to take care of it, I'll see what I can do. Always in the back of my mind I have like, no you won't, no you won't. It's in the back of my mind, and I don't like to be this way. That's also a thing where I'm leaving. Because if I'm here when I'm 40, I would become bitter by it, which I don't want to be. I want to leave when I love this country, not when I hate this country. And I think that's a very wise decision of myself, because I want to leave with nothing but positive impressions, right? That's the best thing. Now, you can see all of my other videos. You see this video even with the grandiose food. I have a fantastic life. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it, and this is no complaint whatsoever. I live in the middle of the city, and I live a fabulous lifestyle, which I would frankly not be able to afford in the center of Amsterdam, where first of all I don't really like to live, because I'm not a great fan of the city. And second of all, it's just a different standard. You would pay 3,000 euros a month for this apartment, and what do you have left at the end of the day? You still feel ripped off, so there's no big difference in that regard. That doesn't mean I cannot share this information with you, because there are some very honest reflections after 10 years in Bulgaria. And I'm also not saying that in Amsterdam landlords would not rip you off, because they absolutely would. My uncle lives in Amsterdam, and he rented an apartment that was apparently owned by the mafia, and at one point they threatened him to leave in a certain time span, even though he did nothing wrong. But he just said, hey, but in the contracts you need to give me this and this notice period, and then they literally physically threatened him. Now, that hasn't happened to me. I've had a very communicative and fairly nice landlords, but I have to tell you that the cutting corners is something that you need to be prepared to deal with, and also the answers that are neither a yes or no, and just the being on the fence can make your life very, very difficult in Bulgaria.